everyone, it's Justine and welcome back to Stenciling for Card Making. Yesterday we had the introduction to stenciling and today we're going to be focusing on the very basics. There are 4 videos today, so don't forget to check out all 4. Please don't forget to share my videos. The share button is located if you're logged into Google or YouTube on the other side of the thumbs up, thumbs down button, just to the left of it. It really helps spread the word about the videos, and as I mentioned, I'm only going to continue doing these videos as long as they get a lot of engagement and actually generate more views than my regular videos, because I like to provide free classes, but they are a lot of work, and so I just want to make sure that they're paying off. So if you would like to say thank you for the free class, that would be amazing if you would share it or share it with your friends on Facebook or whatever the case may be. Anyway, I'm starting off with a whole bunch of colors here from Simon Says Stamp, and I am going to be cutting this stitched rainbow die from My Favorite Things. Now this is a solid die, so you can't separate the rainbows, like the arcs of the rainbow. So I'm just going to cut this 6 times, or using all the different colors, and I'm just putting you obviously in extremely fast mode because it would be extremely boring to watch me do that. So what's really cool about this and this rainbow is the fact that you have to cut it out in 6 different colors anyway. You might as well make 6 different cards, because really if you're going to have all of these arcs, you can create different multicolored look of rainbow, and you can make 6 different cards with it instead of leaving it to waste. I packed mine up into a little plastic baggie and I'm going to use them for later. I'm also going to be cutting out these clouds from paper smooches. So now that I have everything die cut, I'm ready to start stenciling. Now I've grabbed a panel. It measures 4 by 5¼ inches, and I'm grabbing this stencil here from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to be using my most go-to distress ink for this one as far as stenciling goes and blending, and that is Tumbled Glass. Tumbled Glass is a perfect color because it is the color of a nice blue sky, water you could use it with, raindrops. It's just my absolute go-to color for blending and stenciling. So I'm yet to decide to use it today. And I'm just going to share with you a couple of blending techniques. Now I'm doing nothing special in this actual video except for showing you basic stenciling. So the first thing you need to do is actually stick your stencil down. Don't make the mistake of actually only sticking your stencil down. You need to in some way also stick your paper down, because if not, your paper is going to move. I'm going to be stenciling just the bottom right hand corner of this, and I'm going to need a blending tool. Now a blending tool here I'm going to show you, what I do is dip it in the ink, and then I tap it off onto my craft mat. Now a craft mat or a non-porous slick surface is a necessity for stenciling in my opinion, because you have to start off the paper and work your way in. If you're working on a sheet of paper or you're working on your craft mat or something like that, or your cutting mat, it's just going to kind of create a mess, where this is super easy to clean up. So as you can see, I go off of the mat or onto the mat, then I work my way into the card. This prevents harsh lines. Another thing that'll prevent harsh lines when stenciling is from switching from the rectangular blending tool to the circular, I find. I can use that a lot better without getting such harsh lines. So I'm just going to remove my stencil. That's all kind of the stenciling I'm doing today. I kind of realized when I was making this that stenciling was kind of not really a main focus of this card, but I think that's part of the really charm of this card, is that there is stenciling on it, but it's not taking away from the actual card. I'm going to set up my rainbow right now, and I'm just going to glue it sort of on an angle and off of the card. I'm using Tombow Mono liquid adhesive, and I'm just going along my first arc there and just kind of adding the adhesive onto the cardstock directly instead of trying to put it onto these really thin pieces. I'm just working my way down from largest to smallest, finishing off here with this really light purple color. I'm just going to add some clouds as well. But before I do that, I'm just going to add some 3D foam tape to my actual clouds themselves. So I cut out 3 clouds. The die set comes with a medium-sized one and then 2 of these smaller ones. The 2 smaller ones I decided to just not make 3D so that that one cloud really just sticks out. And the other clouds I'm just going to use to block off those uneven edges from the rainbow, so they look really nice and even. The next thing I have to do is actually go in and cut the rainbow off the side of the cardstock. I'm just going to readjust this one piece of rainbow so that it's actually sticking into the clouds and cut off my excess. Now I have this really fun rainbow that is not taking over the entire card, and it's not the full arc either, which is what I really like about it. Now to go onto the stamp set, I have to stamp my sentiment. And I'm going to use, I thought about mounting this on some gray cardstock, but I decided against it because it just wasn't colorful enough. I'm going to be using the stamp set here from My Favorite Things. It has a whole bunch of color and magical rainbow sentiments, and it just came out. And I just wanted to show you one of these fun techniques that you can use with clear stamps. Now I'm going to grab one of these, the largest arc from one of my scraps here, and I'm going to use that to actually bend my stamp into place the way I would need it. So I have to put it down obviously with the letters or the embossed area facing upwards so that it'll actually stamp the letters and not just a big blob of ink. And I'm going to sort of shape my stamp along that arc of that rainbow. This is going to be really cool because I'm going to get the sentiment to go along the rainbow. I'm going to stamp my sentiment using VersaFine black ink. It's my absolute favorite sentiment ink because it is so dark and so intense. And then it's also pigmenting, so it does take a couple seconds longer to dry than a standard ink, but it's not too bad. But it also just kind of sits on the surface there and doesn't soak into the paper, which is really nice. So I'm being really careful here because I don't want to have to clean up my stamp press before stamping this because I don't want my sort of clear stamp to get out of place. And I'm going to stamp that along the rainbow. So my stamp says, when it rains, look for, so I decided to put the 3 dots here at the end. I can never remember what those are called, ellipses, something like that. Anyway, and I'm going to actually go in, and I've actually glued the pieces of the rainbow off screen on a piece of computer paper. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm actually going to add the word rainbows to my card, but I wanted it to be in the same colors as my die cut and also have that really cool stitching in it. So I went off screen to just do my die cutting, so I just sent it through my Big Shot, just like I did in the beginning with the rainbows, and I ended up getting a really cool sentiment. Now this is my first time actually trying out a technique like this, and I absolutely loved the way that it turned out, so I'm really hoping to do it some more. So I was able to incorporate, by angling the rainbows, I was able to incorporate every color I used in that rainbow into my actual word here. So it just took me a couple of seconds to get that sort of taken off there, and I'm going to add this rainbows. So my card now says, when it rains, look for rainbows, and I'm going to add some Tombow Mono liquid adhesive and attach that to the bottom of my card. I was having a little bit of trouble with my Tombow Mono here sort of exploding out of the top, so I got a little bit too much adhesive on it, but overall it turned out just fine. Last but not least, I just had to add some 3D foam tape onto my panel and attach it to a piece of white cardstock. It measures 11 by 4¼ inches, scored at 5½ inches to make a top folding card. Absolutely love the way this turned out, and I love how the stenciling looks underneath the rainbow. I hope you enjoyed this card tutorial, and check out the other 3 videos rather, that are available. You can click up at the top to visit my blog and supply list. There's also a free download for today's card. Over on the subscribe button, you can click there to subscribe to my channel, or you can click on the moving video to check out the introduction to stenciling if you missed yesterday's video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow.